It seems like President Trump is freaking out about the Democrats running for president. For more on this, it's time for a closer look. Trump spoke this morning to religious leaders at the National Prayer Breakfast. It's always a slightly awkward situation for a president who's been married 3 times, paid hush money to a porn star, and has probably, at best, skimmed the Bible. And as you all know, God set a fire to a bush so he could collect the insurance money and build a casino. It was smart. It was a smart move. For example, Trump mentioned the problem of human trafficking, and here is his expert diagnosis on what's causing it.
Together, we will end the scourge of modern-day slavery that, because of the internet, is at levels that nobody can believe. The internet came along, and some good things happened, but some very bad things happened.
Oh, really, Dr. Science? That's your expert opinion? The internet came along, and some good things happened, and some bad things happened? One of the good things about the internet is you can Google how to pronounce the word scourge.
Scourge.
Trump then laid out what I guess you could say is his thesis statement for America, the thing that makes our country great. Reagan called it the shining city on a hill, and Obama said America's a place where you can write your own destiny. And now here are President Trump's thoughts on what makes America great.
America's potential is unlimited because our extraordinary people are just something that is number one.
Soaring words. Just soaring words. He's like a guy on a date getting lines fed to him through an earpiece and the feed cut out. You have beautiful eyes and your nose. Well, I mean, you know, it's your nose, but it's, you got a real great honker. Trump was trying to live up to the theme of unity he set out in his State of the Union address Tuesday, as we all know he's incapable of that. Trump always needs something to scare people about, and in his speech on Tuesday, he landed on a new target, warning the Democrats would turn America into a socialist country. And it prompted a few scattered reactions from Republicans in the audience.
Here in the United States, we are alarmed by the new calls to adopt socialism in our country.
Well, guys, you did it. You stopped socialism by booing it. It reminds me of Ronald Reagan's famous line, Mr. Gorbachev, boo this wall. At least they're making real proposals like Medicare for all. You guys stole your best political argument from Statler and Waldorf.
Boo!
And then, of course, the camera caught the reaction of self-described Democratic socialist Bernie Sanders after Trump vowed to stop socialism from taking root in America.
America was founded on liberty and independence and not government coercion, domination, and control. We are born free, and we will stay free.
So, turns out Statler was in the audience. I mean, that's a real classic Bernie face there. That's the face Bernie makes when he finds out the restaurant charges for bread. Bread is supposed to be free. Medicare for all. I hope you're applauding for the writer who told me Medicare for all wouldn't work. And then yesterday, in an interview on CNBC, Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin doubled down on Trump's line about socialism, although the way he said it left some people scratching their heads.
The good news is the U.S. economy is doing terrific. We continue to have very strong jobs numbers. I think you've just begun to see the beginning of tax reform. I think you're going to see that kick in a lot again. And as the president talked about last night, his economic program is working. We're not going back to socialism.
Now, when he says going back, he's probably referring to President Obama, who was many things, but he was not a socialist. I mean, first of all, look at the way he dresses now. He looks like a high-powered sports agent. LeBron, baby, you're crushing it. The minute he left the White House, he got cast in a recurring role on Ballers. And yet, while he was whining about socialism in public, Trump was also claiming in private that he had predicted the success of one of the most famous self-described democratic socialists of the new Congress, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Trump met news anchors hours before his speech and claimed that he was among the first to spot her political talent and said he had predicted her primary upset last year. Trump said he knew Ocasio-Cortez had it, meaning star power. Oh, really? You predicted that one of the most charismatic and internet-famous politicians in the country had star power? I wonder who else he brags about. You know who I think is going places? Tom Hanks. Trump thinks he's good at spotting star power because he thinks he has star power. But when people say Trump has it, that's not what they mean. I'm sorry, but it looks like you have it. And, it has gone straight to your brain. Scaremongering about socialism might have worked a few years ago, but it's lost its punch now that Republicans have used it over and over and over again. Just take last year's midterm elections. Trump went to Wisconsin, a state he won in 2016, to campaign against Democratic Senator Tammy Baldwin. And he tried to warn the crowd that Baldwin would support socialized medicine, although he claimed he was trying to be nice about it.
Leah's radical far-left opponent is Tammy Baldwin, who wants a socialist takeover of health care. You know, I'm trying to say that very nicely. I'm trying to... See, normally I'd scream, they want a socialist takeover. Now I say, wants a socialist takeover of... I'm trying to be nice.
It's so jarring when he tells people he's pretending to be nice. It's like if Robert De Niro looked into the camera halfway through a movie and said, I'm not really in the mafia, I'm pretending. No, this is real. And the attack didn't work. Baldwin ended up winning a race by 10 points. But if you thought billionaire Donald Trump would be the least effective messenger against the supposed dangers of socialized medicine, you'd be wrong. Because on Tuesday, Fox Business News actually found someone who was even worse at it, Duck Dynasty star Phil Robertson. Fox had him on for some reason, and instead of asking about something he's qualified to talk about, like duck calls or how to dress if you want to blend into a marsh, they asked him about health care policy, and he ended up going on an insane rant about Senator Kamala Harris's proposal to eliminate private health insurance. Even the Fox anchor who invited him on was flustered by how crazy his answers were.
We have been given, contrary to what Kamala Harris said. She says, elect me and everything's free. Look, everybody can have their own health care. The government's going to finance the whole thing. What I'm saying is that, Kamala, I already have health care. It's given to me by God, eternal health care. I'm guaranteed to be raised from the dead. I have life and immortality given to me by God through Jesus Christ.
People get sick on Earth in human form, so
and they get,
you advise...
The temporary reprieve is not worth it.
The anchor actually had to say, people get sick on Earth in human form. I mean, I'm assuming after you have to say that to a guest, your next stop is at your producer's office to say, maybe no more Woods people? Also, it's so crazy seeing a guy say that with a stock ticker underneath him. Did you get any stock tips today? No, but I heard Phil Robertson's gonna live forever. And by the way, lest you think Fox sought out the opinion of a regular guy, Hillbilly Gandalf here reportedly has a net worth of $15 million. Plus an extra 38 cents if he ever combs out his beard. Ooh. And yet somehow the fever dream got weirder from there because Robertson went on to claim that people don't need health care at all and that he was living proof.
I'm telling her I have eternal health care and it's free. Doctors can give you a little temporary reprieve, but they cannot save you from physical death. The doctors who treat you, they die too.
But you're not dismissing that people need health care, right? It's just who...
I didn't have health care for 50 years.
Well, you look great. The reason they're all freaking out about Medicare for All is because they know it makes basic sense to people. Most people don't care whether it's called socialism or capitalism or whatever. They just know it's inherently unfair for mega billionaires to hoard their wealth while millions of Americans don't even have health care. Ocasio-Cortez made that point in an interview recently, and a Fox News guest mocked her for it.
A system that allows billionaires to exist when there are parts of Alabama where people are still getting ringworm because they don't have access to public health is wrong.
She's saying, Mark, that basically she doesn't want the kind of poverty that leads to lack of health care to exist when people are, allowed to have billions of dollars and be fat cats, essentially.
Well, first of all, I mean, the fact is ringworm isn't deadly. I mean, people get it's like foot fungus.
We know ringworm isn't deadly. For some people, it's jewelry. Will you take this ring and be my swamp bride? I'm never gonna die. You can be on my health insurance. I get it from Jesus. Now, there is a reason these guys are freaking out about Medicare for All and why most Democrats running for president are for it. It just makes basic sense to people. Everyone deserves health care for one very simple reason, and that is...
People get sick on Earth in human form.
This has been A Closer Look.